Namaskar. Welcome to a new episode of India International. One can say that South China Sea dispute is arguably one of the most debated disputes in the 21st century. While we are talking about China's maritime ambitions, we have to make a reference to South China Sea dispute. If we discuss the geopolitics of the Indo-Pacific region, again a reference to South China Sea dispute is inevitable. While we are talking about the principle of freedom of navigation, once again South China Sea dispute is often given as an example. So, we talk about the South China Sea dispute in this episode. To begin with, where is South China Sea? Obviously, as the name suggests, it is to the south of China and hence known as South China Sea. The sea is described as what you call semi-enclosed. So, it has a lot of countries around it, a number of countries on the littoral of South China Sea. The province of Guangzhou and Hong Kong are to the north of South China Sea. Philippines is to its east. Brunei and the two provinces of Malaysia, namely Sarawak and Sabah, are to the south of it, and Vietnam is to the west of South China Sea. When we look at the map, it is quite obvious that the territorial claims of China as well as the littoral countries over the exclusive economic zone clash with each other in South China Sea. South China Sea was first conceived as Chinese territorial waters by the government of the then Republic of China in the year 1945. They released a map of what is known as dashes across the South China Sea. This is variously known as 9-dash line or a 10-dash line or an 11-dash line, because at different times there were a 10 or 11 or 9-dash. Currently, it is more known as the 9-dash line because the most popular map of China, which shows the territorial claims of China across the South China Sea, has 9 dashes, and hence it is known as the 9-dash line, which is the claim line of China on the South China Sea. I think some of you may remember that in one of the earlier episodes, we had spoken about the politics of cartography. South China Sea is an excellent example of politics of cartography, but on the sea. The claims which were laid by the government of Republic of China were continued by the People's Republic of China, that is the government of China after revolution from 1949 onwards. So, China continues to claim that entire South China Sea is actually its waters. So, Chinese claims and the counter claims of the other littoral countries, they have been clashing the claims of each other all the while. These claims and counter claims became or started becoming more significant from the 1980s onwards. So, what happened in the 1980s? The United Nations Convention on the Law of the Seas was signed in the year 1982. Now, this Convention on the Law of the Seas, or what is also popularly known as the UNCLOS, actually defined, or rather let me say well defined, two concepts. One is what is territorial waters, and secondly the concept of exclusive economic zone. According to the UN Convention on the Law of the Seas, 12 nautical miles from the coastline of any country is regarded as the territorial waters, and 200 nautical miles from the coastline of a country is the exclusive economic zone of that country. An exclusive economic zone actually means that a country has exclusive rights to explore all natural resources on the sea and under the seabed in that particular area. And hence, after these definitions, claims and counterclaims on the South China Sea and the 9-dash line actually started becoming more and more significant, primarily because the 9-dash line encroached into the exclusive economic zone claims of almost all littoral states of South China Sea. One more reason why these disputes have become more significant is because South China Sea is a sea which is very rich in resources. There are huge reserves of natural gas as well as oil all over South China Sea. A number of countries are already exploring oil and natural gas in this particular area, but this competition over resources makes the claims over South China Sea all the more significant. Philippines has been exploring oil from now for almost over 3 decades. Vietnam has started exploring oils off the coast of its own country, and these are some of the significant countries which are exploring resources apart from China in the South China Sea. Hence, the claims over EEZ acquire a lot of importance. There are small island territories in the South China Sea on which different countries have laid their claims. These are known as Paracel Island or Spratly Islands or Scarborough Shoal. You know, one is just to the south of Hong Kong, that is Paracel. Then the Scarborough Shoal is closer to Philippines on the map, you can see. However, these claims and counterclaims actually has meant that Chinese claims have become more and more aggressive in more recent times. What has happened is China has already occupied the Paracel Islands. It has also started occupying various other small island territories, even the reefs, and it has started constructing structures, permanent structures, some of them created for the military use, and these structures are being erected on several of islands and island reefs in the South China Sea area. As far as the claims and counterclaims are concerned, China has tried to overpower most of the countries, most of the other littoral states in the South China Sea area. So, you know, they made a treaty with Vietnam around 2011 as far as the exclusive economic zones are concerned. There is a similar treaty between China and Indonesia. Philippines was one of the countries which actually took the case to the Permanent Court of Arbitration under the UNCLOS, UN-CLOS provisions. And the Permanent Court of Arbitration actually gave a verdict in favor of Vietnam and rejected Chinese claims in the year 2018. Unfortunately, however, by that time there was a change of government in Philippines, and a new president, President Duterte, simply put the war over the claims in South China Sea on the back burner because he wanted to improve Philippines' relations with China. But more than the littoral countries, there is one country which takes major objections to Chinese claims and what it calls Chinese expansionism in the South China Sea area, and that country is none other than the United States of America. It often makes a reference to the principle of freedom of navigation when it comes to the use of South China Sea. And there is another country in the Indo-Pacific region which has wholeheartedly supported the American principle of freedom of navigation, and that is Australia. US has conducted military exercises of late in recent past across the Taiwan Strait, around Taiwan, just to show or just to assert, let us say, the principle of freedom of navigation. China has taken objection to that. How is India concerned with the South China Sea dispute? If at all, quite remotely. But yes, there is a connection. Even if we are not directly involved in South China Sea, and coming to the where South China Sea actually lies, there is also a reality that currently probably India does not have the power or capability of its navy going beyond the Malacca Strait and claiming certain territories. So South China Sea, which is beyond the Malacca Strait, probably is not in the immediate sphere of interest of India. However, there is a remote connection for India as well. I have mentioned the exploration of oil and natural gas by Vietnam. Since 2011-2012, ONGC Videsh has a collaboration with its counterpart in Vietnam, and the two have been exploring the oil fields off the coast of Vietnam in South China Sea, and many times it has happened in the past that China has taken objection to this exploration by claiming that this exploration is being conducted in the area that China claims. South China Sea is a part of China's maritime ambitions, there is no doubt about it. And the powers in the Indo-Pacific have taken cognizance of this particular fact. There is a group known as the Quad, which is a group of 4 major democracies in the Indo-Pacific region, namely the United States, Japan, Australia and India. This group came into existence a few years ago. The origins of the Quads have been quite shaky. There has been no, let us say, regularity in meeting as far as the Quad group is concerned. However, of late, the group has started acquiring more significance, but let us say more seriousness. In the recent meeting held on 6th October in Tokyo in Japan, which was a meeting of the foreign ministers of the Quad countries, almost all the countries have made a veiled reference to Chinese ambitions in South China Sea. Australia has made a reference to that, if not by taking the name of China, but at least using the words like freedom of navigation. United States was one country which actually took the name of China and has made a reference to that. Even the Indian government has asserted the principle of peaceful South China Sea, peaceful Indo-Pacific actually, and thus they have made it very clear that they take cognizance of this rising Chinese ambitions, not only in the South China Sea, but also broadly speaking in the Indo-Pacific region. At a time when India is having a land border dispute bruising and burning in eastern Ladakh area, it is important for India to keep a watch on China and also to keep a watch on US actions in the South China Sea or around the Indo-Pacific. What happens in South China Sea, what happens in Indo-Pacific, and to what extent China remains engaged militarily or otherwise in that part of the world will be significant for what happens in Ladakh, because if China is engaged militarily both in South China Sea as well as in eastern Ladakh, it will mean China is fighting on 2 fronts at the same time, and that is where the South China Sea dispute has some significance for India. That is all for today. Please leave your comments in the comment box below. Thank you for watching.
Now be the first to know about the latest updates on our new news app. Go on your Android or iOS, search for HW News Network. Download our app, choose the language you prefer to get updates in, and be up to date with the latest news.
If you like this video, please share it, and we would love to hear your comments in the comments section down here. Also, please do like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter to get minute-to-minute news updates. For more such shows and videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel.